Kate from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, that damn John Trumbull.
Damn John Trumbull, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay. It's getting warm out there. We're in the summer months.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. White boy summer. It is starting.
Heyo, that's right, ladies. What?
Yeah.
That's right. You're about to see, the streets will be filled with white boys. You'll see like a lot of pale legs, a lot of dudes in shorts, and yeah, I hope you're ready for it, ladies. Just batten down the hatches. Brace yourself.
It's not just pale legs and shorts. Pale legs of people who have been quarantined for 15 months. So,
oh yeah, y'all be.
We're talking extra pale.
Oh my lord! It's good lord. It'll look like mozzarella polio string cheese in sneakers.
That's right. But I mean, we've had kind of an exciting, jam-packed week, right?
We have.
We spent like close to an hour just off air, just talking, catching up, going over every little thing that happened this week, figuring out how we felt about it. But we had some exciting activity on the SNL Nerds Twitter account.
Yeah, for those of you that follow us, you probably saw it at SNL Nerds Show. Give us a follow.
Yeah. I sent out a little tweet congratulating Mr. Mikey Day for winning the coveted SNL Nerds Award for Most Improved Wikipedia Profile Pick, 2021 edition. I said, we knew you could do it. And Mikey Day, this is cool. He actually responded, said, "Thank you. It's only downhill from here."
Mikey Day is aware of us, people. Mr. Michael William Day knows who the SNL Nerds are. This is a coup, a big deal.
He was at the very least aware of us for a few minutes on June the 3rd, and then probably forgot all about us after that.
Dude, whatever. We'll take the win. A win's a win.
Exactly. And it turns out that that picture was taken by another SNL podcaster, Avery from the SNL Struggles podcast.
Right, because I believe they saw the tweet and they were like, I think they made a mention of it. That like, oh, I didn't know this picture is on his Wikipedia page now. Just wanted to let everybody know I'm the one that took it when I saw him after SNL taping.
Yeah. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always nice. I'm kind of amused. I just looked. Mikey Day's response has more likes than our original tweet, but
that's to be expected.
Yeah, but hey, he's more famous, so
yeah, he's Mikey Day. Show some respect.
He's Mikey effing Day.
Yeah, I always wondered that. So how does the picture get like updated in Wikipedia? Does somebody just submit a picture for it to be updated, or do the person send a picture? Like, how does that work?
I think most anybody can send in a picture. Like you have to go through some process to be like a Wikipedia editor, and there are people who do that. I don't think well, they have to be people who do it on a professional basis, but the big thing is it has to be like something that they have rights to.
Got it. All right.
So yeah, so you see a lot of pictures that are just taken by private citizens.
Oh, I see. Because I have noticed that there's still some SNL cast members that don't have pictures on their Wikipedia page. Like Ego doesn't have one. I think Heidi doesn't have one.
Right.
So I was wondering, like, do they do that? Do their people update that? So it's just up to us, the people.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing on Wikipedia is it's like the free encyclopedia anybody can edit. So
okay.
Yeah.
So basically, like, it's up to us to find them in the streets, take a picture of them while in their natural habitat in outdoors, and then just
we got to do this guerrilla style. That's how it operates. Yeah,
like National Geographic. We just put on our pith helmets, hop in a Jeep, and if we see them, in their environment, outside an improv troupe or something like that,
not in a stalky sort of way, not in a leave them alone. They're people. They deserve the right to live their lives, but if they're out in public, yeah, you're, I think, entitled to ask to take a picture.
Yeah, I never understand people like that who stalk famous people and just walk up to them. You're like, "Yo, can I get a selfie though?" Like I'm not that type of person at all. I just like to, if I see a famous person in the street, which I have a couple times, I usually just leave them alone. I just never,
Hmm.
I don't feel like entitled like that.
I think it's nice to get a picture when you can. Like when I a couple years ago now, I randomly ran into Kyle Mooney outside of the New York Comic Con, and I asked for a quick selfie, and he was just very nice, and he was like, "Yeah, hey, let's do it." Um, it was a very quick interaction. I talked to him for probably less than 2 minutes total.
Right. No, but yeah, I would say that would be the best way to do it. The way you handled it, where you're just,
Yeah,
respectful and say, "Hey, I just want to take a picture. I love you. I like your work on SNL," and
yeah,
you just do it, and then you just leave them alone. Like, don't be one of those people, because some people do that where they see the person is like in the middle of something, like maybe eating or with their families, and then they just kind of
yeah.
barge in, like the person owes them a selfie. Don't do that. Don't be that person.
Don't do that. Yeah. I mean, a selfie or an autograph from a celebrity, that's something extra. And it's not something that they're obligated to do. And definitely leave them alone if you see them in a public restroom.
Absolutely. What? Yeah. Don't poke
I'm
your
just
head.
saying that's a good policy for life. Like you see someone at a urinal, don't do that.
Yeah, don't poke your head over the men's room stall and being like, "Hey, can
Yeah.
I? Hey, Colin Jost, can I get a picture with you?"
Yeah. Like maybe if you're side by side standing at the sink, maybe just you can give a little nod.
Yeah, do that. Be like, "I know who you are, and I appreciate your work.
I,
Well
I
done, sir."
acknowledge who you are. I know. I know what it is. And yeah.
Yeah, just don't be one of those people that's like, "Oh, Alex Moffat wouldn't take a picture with me. What a dick!"
Yeah.
Just because he was in the men's room stall with his pants down, and I just poked my head underneath, and he was like, "No," and he was all angry. Like, what's that about? Guess you
Yeah.
forgot your roots and where you come from, Alex Moffat, or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I've done that. I was,
No, that's a totally hypothetical situation that we've just come up with.
Yes. My lawyer told me to say yes.
I don't even know if Alex Moffat uses the bathroom. Quite frankly,
Yeah, I don't know.
he could. I have no evidence one way or the other.
Yeah, we don't know if he, defecates or not. It's all speculation at this point,
He
people.
could be a cyborg. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe he feeds off of his own waste, like a cyborg does. I'm assuming.
Right, because that's how cyborgs work.
I don't know how cyborgs work, John. This is what
Right.
I'm saying.
Okay, but anyway, I think we're burying the lead. The point is, Mikey Day responded to our tweet, and that was cool. And we picked up a few new followers for that. So if you're listening to the podcast for the first time, welcome. Thank you. We hope our talk about defecating cyborgs hasn't scared you off.
Yes, if you, yes, exactly. Hopefully, that hasn't been like, what the fuck. Did Mikey Day endorse this podcast? I may have to. I've made a heinous mistake. I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, hey, we're now officially in the SNL summer hiatus. We're in the off season. We did our big season 46 interview show. We had an interview with SNL writer Hugh Fink last
Oh,
week. We
oh,
generated a lot of content, man.
folks, we put in overtime for those 2 episodes. I mean, my lord and stars, that
We did
we put in work
4 hours of content.
for you, free of charge. May I
That's
ask?
good. That's
May I
good.
add? So why don't you just give us like a review and help us and show that you appreciate all the hard work we're doing for you ungrateful bastards? How about that?
Hmm. Or go over to the Patreon. You can do that over. It's on non-productive.com, right?
Non-productive.com.
Non-dash. I always forget the dash.
You got to put in the dash. You got
Okay.
you.
You go to non-productive.com and you go to the Patreon, and then you contribute to the Patreon. You go to the little support non-pro link, and you say, "Hey, I'm sending you this money because I like the SNL nerds."
Yeah, I want to hear more about cyborg defecation. So I want to give these guys money so I can hear about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly where your money goes.
So yeah, it's cool. We got the SNL Nerds account. You can support us for just $5 a month.
$5 a month for the
$5 a
price
month.
of a cup of coffee.
That's right. If you're going off to Starbucks or whatever, that's the price of a cup of coffee.
Yeah, or if you get gas station coffee, that's like 5 coffees.
Yeah, there you go.
It's up to you.
I'm
The
just
choice
saying
is
that
yours.
there are options.
Yeah, the choice is yours. You only limit your imagination.
But yeah, because we're now in the summer hiatus, we now have to figure out what we're covering. We don't want to just take the summer off like the SNL folks do.
That's right. We're not going to name names or people who take the summers off, but we keep on trucking here at the SNL Nerds.
That's true. That's true. I mean, we can't go on stand-up tours like Melissa Villasenor with her Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat rainbow van.
Yeah, but check her out, guys. She's really dope and amazing. And yeah, show her some love.
Yeah, yeah. And if you see Melissa out on the road, yeah, let us know about it.
That's right. Tell her the SNL Nerds sent you.
Yeah, yeah. Tag us on Twitter. Use the hashtag SNL Nerds or tag us at SNL Nerds Show. We'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. So we're going to keep on trucking this summer, and today we're going to talk about a show that came out like about a month ago, actually.
On May the 6th, all the episodes of this show dropped on HBO Max.
That's right, folks. We're talking about That Damn Michael Che.
That damn Michael Che.
Damn Michael Che.
It's a great title.
It is. Like, I think he heard it. I think he talked about where the title come from, and he just, like, as soon as he heard that damn Michael Che, it just, like, clicked for him. Like, yeah, that's it.
Have you heard what he originally proposed for the title, though?
I did. I was as I was remembering that story. I got a little uncomfortable saying it.
He went to HBO and he said, "I wanted to name this show That Black Ass Michael Che," and HBO was like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that."
Yeah, 'cause I think his reasoning for it was like, because in his mind he thought how cool it would be if the show got nominated for an award, and like, so to have somebody like Tilda Swinton come up and say the names, like one of the, of course when they get to that show, it would be like somebody like Tilda Swinton or Uber White saying, and the award goes to that black ass Michael Che.
That is very funny, and
it would be funny.
That same effect with That Damn Michael Che.
Yeah, that's true. It still hits, but not as hard as that black ass Michael Che. But still, that damn Michael Che.
Yeah, because like you're probably not going to get canceled for saying that damn Michael Che.
Right, and then it also kind of leans into Michael Che's personality a little bit, because I mean, like, I think he knows people see him as a bit of a provocateur who says kind of controversial things, and a lot of people aren't crazy about him because he can be a little bit of a jerk, or has maybe come across as a bit of a jerk on SNL and on his through social media handles. So the name That Damn Michael Che, I think, kind of plays into him knowing about how he can come across to some people.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that is in the mix there. Yeah, but he dropped all 6 episodes of this show on HBO Max back on May the 6th, and it's a pretty quick watch. The 6 episodes, they're all about 20 minutes apiece.
Yeah, you could bang out the entire season in like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually pretty surprised at how quickly each episode goes. It's pretty quick. And like we said, so it's 6 episodes, and each episode sort of addresses a certain topic, a certain theme throughout them, which we'll talk about as we go into it.
Yeah, I mean, we can give the titles of the episodes. That'll give you a feel for the show. The first episode's Policin'. Policin' just ending with an IN apostrophe. That's all about the popo.
Right. Oh, look at you using street vernacular. All right. I see you.
I mean, now that I've used popo is officially over.
I didn't want to say anything. Yeah, we haven't used popo since, I'm going to say, like 2003.
I'm assuming. I mean, but by the time this stuff filters down to me, it's way over.
This one's about the boys in blue.
The second episode is called Bourbon and Water. That's about dating. Third episode is called Dudley Gets Shot.
That's about like healthcare, basically, our healthcare system.
Yeah. Episode 4 is called Sex Worker.
Yeah, that's mostly about like fame and just being a celebrity in Hollywood, I guess you could say.
Episode 5, that might be my favorite title. It's just well played, crackers.
Yeah, yeah. And that one's really topical. That's about the vaccine and black people's hesitancy to get the vaccine.
Yeah, yeah. And episode 6 is called Only Built for Leather Suits, which is about Michael Che gearing up for a stand up show at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that one seems to be more about like his art, and comedy, and just basically his career. And of course,
Hmm.
the title is a play on a famous Raekwon the Shelf album, Only Built for Cuban Links.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, that's the first. I think the first solo album from Raekwon, and it's pretty much like a legendary album in the world of hip hop. It's like just certified stamp classic.
Okay, all right, cool, cool. And he's got a lot of his friends and colleagues from SNL popping up on the show. Cecily Strong is in the very first episode, first sketch. Heidi Gardner pops up. Colin Quinn is there. Colin Jost, all the Collins, and Ellen Cleghorn.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen her in forever, but yeah, Ellen Cleghorn in an episode too. I was like, whoa.
2 episodes. Yeah, I saw her credited in 2, I think. And I gotta confess, I did not recognize Ellen Cleghorn, and until I saw her name in the credits, I was like, "Oh shit, Ellen Cleghorn was in this." Because I just haven't seen her or what she's been doing in a long time. But I looked her up. There was an article about her on Slate a couple of years ago, back in 2018, and she's been keeping busy. She's got a master's, and she teaches now, and
Oh,
she's also still performing, I believe.
oh, really? Wow,
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, the last time I remember hearing about her, she had it was after her stint on SNL, and she had like her own show for a little bit. I
yeah.
think
She
called
had a
Cleghorn.
sitcom called Cleghorn on the WB when they were just kind of like trying to rebrand themselves as like the urban television network, I guess.
Right, like before UPN and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that was on for a little bit, but then after that, I didn't hear much about her. She would like pop up here and there. I think she was in the 40th SNL anniversary
Yes.
for a little bit, but yeah, like she just kind of fell off the radar. But I mean, the fact that she's still out there and she's teaching now, that's pretty great.
Yeah. She enrolled at NYU. She earned her master's and PhD in performance studies. It says here on the Slate article, today she teaches, recently completing a stint at Graceland University, a small Christian school in Lamani, Iowa. And she has a couple kids as well. So
Oh, very nice. Well
doing
done.
doing all right for herself, I think.
All right, shout out to you, Ellen.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, well, there's 6 episodes. Maybe just break it down episode by episode and just kind of we'll just hop around and talk a little bit about what happens in each one and whatnot.
Yeah. It's an interesting structure on the show. It's not just isolated sketches. You have like everything that relates to the theme of the episode, and you have bits that kind of come back and weave back in over the course of the episode. It's almost like an episode of Monty Python.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like they go that little. Like, I mean, most people compare it to this whole show to Chappelle's show because like it is
Hmm.
very similar in tone to Chappelle's show, but then they also try to, like you said, like weave in like a narrative thread throughout the whole thing. So there you could see shades of Monty Python and Mr. Show in there as
Hmm.
well, and also throughout each episode, you see Michael Che as like a talking head throughout, sort of talking, giving his thoughts on the topic that it's mostly about, like about police or dating and
Hmm.
whatnot. And like sometimes for the most part he'll be talking to somebody off camera, and like he'll
Yeah,
be kind of saying
it's like
jokes.
he's talking to an interviewer. Then some of the writers are in there too. He's and That's interesting because he always has an interesting perspective. I think that's what I've really come to appreciate about him on Update is
Uh,
he will have a take on a topic that I have not heard in 20 other places over the course of the week.
right, like on this first episode, policing. So it starts out with him getting in an elevator with a white woman played by Cecily Strong, who's a white
Hmm.
woman, and
Who I believe white woman in real life.
I'll look this up to verify that on Wikipedia, but I believe you're correct. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So and the
So cast a type.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So they're in the elevator. They're rising up. Cecily Strong sees Michael Che, and she says, "Hey, I just want to apologize for everything white people are doing. I'm an ally,
Hmm.
just with the police and our men's white fragility and
Yeah.
she's
She's got like
basically
a Black Lives Matter button on her purse, and like another thing that was it's what it was like AP AB,
oh
and she's like, what is that? And she's like, oh, all police are bastards.
no ACAB, all cops are bastards.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Right, exactly. So then the elevator gets stuck. The two of them are in the elevator, and then so it's just them basically having a heart to heart, and her apologizing for cops and stuff. But then you hear Michael Che's viewpoint of it, where he's not really that upset about it. Where he says, policing is just a job. Some are good at it, some are bad at it, and that
Yeah.
takes her off guard, saying, "What do you mean? Like, you can't. Some jobs are too important to be just bad at it. Like, how can you
Well,
be so
and
nonchalant?"
also, it seems like his main take is just like he's exhausted with this conversation because he has to have this conversation every time he leaves his apartment. And it's all these white people coming up to him wanting to alleviate their guilt.
Yeah, that has kind. I remember, like because like this was filmed a year ago.
Yeah.
It filmed like last November to this February, I believe. And
Yeah.
I do remember a little bit of that, like back when like all the George Floyd outrage was happening. Like
Hmm.
a few of my friends did reach out to me and be like, "Hey, are you guys feeling all right? Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right." So I did get that viewpoint that Michael Che was kind of
Yeah.
was feeling.
Hey,
Um,
Darren, I just wanted to check in, let you know I'm one of the good ones.
yes, yeah.
I'm an ally.
I'll
Let's
yes, I'll vouch for you,
are
John.
we cool?
Yes, yes, I'll tell the others about it. Be like, no, guys, leave Trumbo alone. He's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a
If
okay.
you could just like put my name on that list at the meeting, not the first list, but the okay, let's
I'll
not mess with this guy.
yeah, I'll sign off on that. Yes,
Okay.
stamp of approval.
Whew.
Uh,
All right.
John's like, I was sweating that up for a while. Oh, thank God.
That's right.
But yeah. So
Okay. All right. Well, the podcast is done.
what? What?
No, that's really what that was the purpose of these last 3 years.
Oh, you played the long game,
I
son of a
did. I did.
bastard.
I mean, I guess we could go on and keep doing it.
Yeah, let's just finish up this one and then
Okay. All
get with
right.
the
Fine.
All right, so yeah, we hear from Che's viewpoint about some cops are good, some cops are bad. I'm just exhausted from having this talk, and we also find out that Che's brother is a cop, which he actually is in real life.
I figured that was a real life detail.
Yeah, Che's brother is a police officer, so he has like a viewpoint of it that people who don't that may not see. Like if you don't have
Yeah.
anybody in your family who's in law enforcement, it's very easy to like kind of villainize all police officers and all cops. But if you have somebody in your life that is a cop, you see it from a different lens a little bit.
And there was one of the recurring bits in this episode was they had a mother who's horrified to learn that her young black son has signed up with the police force. She finds like a gun in a shoebox under his bed, and at first you think, oh well, he's like joined a gang or something. He's like, oh no, mom, I'm just holding that for somebody. But then she finds a nightstick, and then she's like, how could you sign up for the police?
It's like, oh, I was hoping you'd be in. I saw like I did. They had that one line that I like where it's like, I saw you in that Yankees, blue Yankees jacket and those wraparound Oakley sunglasses. I was hoping you'd be a Crip or something.
You're right. And I mean, that's such a great twist. We also had there was a bunch of police officers making a public service announcement, just talking and like instructing the community how to not get shot by the police.
Right, exactly. And they were saying, just comply, man. Being a being a police officer can be a real pain in the neck.
Yeah,
Literally sometimes. And which,
yeah,
of course, that's a
yeah,
nod, Floyd. Yeah.
yeah. And one of the cops in that was a stand-up comedian, Christy Stefano.
Yeah, like throughout the whole series, we see a ton of New York comedian throughout this whole series. I mean, a few of them were actually writers on this too. So, but
Yeah.
if you're a
Yeah.
fan of like the New York comedy scene, you'll be like, oh, that's so and so, that's so and so, that's so and so. They're
I saw a lot of faces I recognized in this, and there's even an animated segment with like an X-Men parody called Policemen, and it's like the X-Men, but they're acting the way some cops do,
yeah,
and
exactly.
I got a real kick out of that. That was very funny.
Yeah, like the Professor X character was getting sensing that they were getting flamed on Black Twitter for their handling of a suspect.
Right, because their Cyclops equivalent, like he's shot without without thinking, and they go to the black female member, their Storm equivalent, and they're like, "Hey, could you talk to the press?" Because they're being assaulted by this guy who looks like Reverend Al Sharpton.
Right.
Did they say it was Al Sharpton, or did he just look like him?
He looked like Al Sharpton. They didn't say Al. Did they say Al Sharpton? I don't think
I
they.
don't think they ever said his name.
I don't think they said it, but they alluded to it.
Yeah, yeah. Like when he was powering up, he was like putting weight back on, so he became like '80s Al Sharpton in the tracksuits.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. One of them looked like Sean King, like
Hmm.
brandishing a knife. So there was a lot of commentary in there about black civil rights leaders and the
Right.
cops, but told in cartoon form.
Yeah, but they were saying to the Storm equivalent, they were like, "Hey, could you talk to everyone?" And she's like, "Why do you always have me do that?"
Yeah, I think her name was Katrina
Oh,
in the
okay,
show.
that's a great name.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that's interesting.
Mm,
And they also had another fake ad about the protests that were going on at the time that were
mhm.
prevalent throughout the year, and like how you can have like a new Fitbit protest where you can get your steps in while you fight for while you fight for justice against
Right, and
social
they had
injustice.
these for all sides. They had they had some with like Confederate flags on them. So if you're
Right. Hey, and white people march too, so
right,
get them
right.
a Fitbit.
I mean, that's a very funny premise. I mean, I was really impressed with the first episode. I think the first episode is probably the strongest, personally.
Oh, all right. Okay. I think the second one for me, like I thought
Uh
that was
huh.
a little bit stronger, but the first one was good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, the first was my favorite. Should we go on to the second one, Bourbon and Water?
Sure, let's do it. Bourbon and Water. This is one about relationships and dating.
Yeah.
Uh, this one I thought I like this one the most, just because uh, I thought because like Michael Che really doesn't get very confessional or very personal in his comedy, and I thought
Hmm.
that this was probably like the most personal and confessional he got in it. Because all right,
Yeah, I
so
can see that.
yeah, I mean, it starts off with him at a bar inside. It's really like kind of high end restaurant,
Hmm.
and
Which apparently is in the same building as his apartment, which I'm sure is another detail drawn from his life.
exactly, and like he like oh I should bring this up too. I like how he starts off the this episode where he's doing a talking head where he talks about how relationships are a lot like two people carrying up a sofa up a flight of stairs,
Yeah.
and every year you're going up a new flight of stairs, and
Yeah.
sometimes they're like the other. Sometimes you're at the bottom carrying the sofa, and the other person at the top is like, "Hey, push! Pivot, pivot." And then
Yeah.
you're like, "I ain't got it. I don't know. I think you need somebody stronger."
That's a great metaphor. And he also talks about how he tells people in his life that he loves them all the time, but not the people he's in a relationship with.
Yeah, which is like I don't know, like that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty ballsy to say that in this thing.
I mean, it's on one hand, it's kind of fucked up. On the other, it's cool that he recognizes that in himself. And we have like a montage of his girlfriend saying like "I love you" and him sort of dodging the question, like the way Patrick Swayze did in the movie Ghost. You know?
Right. Oh, I know. Ditto. Right, ditto. He said
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yes, that's very true. So basically, it's him in this bar in this really high end restaurant drinking bourbon and water. Him making a joke to a bartender saying, "Oh, I would like some water, except put in mostly bourbon and no water." And the
Right,
bartender is kind of doesn't laugh because he's heard that joke before. And then we get into why he didn't laugh because he has heard that joke before. And
right.
so then they flash back
It's
to
one of Shay's go to jokes.
exactly. And so then it flashes back to Che and his girlfriend at that same restaurant bar, and Che's girl, breaking up with him, saying she's not
Hmm.
happy and she's kind of done with it. And then it does an interesting thing where it also flashes back to Che as a kid, where uh, he's in a classroom and his teacher, played by Guy Richardson, SNL writer, and also who also worked on this show.
Hmm.
He brings in a special like motivational speaker to speak to the kids about addictions, and so then we see another New York comedian, Mike Britt, come in and talk to the kids about hose,
Yeah.
as it were. And then we have Gary. I like this one line saying, "Oh, wait, no, I thought you were talking to the kids about addiction to something like drugs or something." And then Mike says, "I'm not addicted to drugs. I can go 2 days without getting high."
Yeah. So obviously, you don't have a problem.
Yeah. So, but that, yeah. So then it's Mike talking to the kids about addiction. How he lost everything to these hoes out here in these streets, and then there was one line in there that kind of was a bit of I guess, a precursor to what's coming where the teacher says to Mike, "Hey, don't you shouldn't be referring to women as hoes." And then Mike says, "I'm not talking about just women. I mean, not all rectangles are not squares." But then he goes in about like hoes and women and dating and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it cuts from that to Michael Che having his issues with with this woman in his life, about him not opening up, and I don't know. There was like a lot of stuff in there that I thought like Che was pulling from his real life that I thought was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, and also when you're famous, I'm sure that adds on a few more levels of complication to dating too.
Right? Yeah, that's a whole nother level of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and so there were also including some other sketches that sort of rely on the same thing. There was one sketch that included that was by Dr. Thurgood Carver, which is like this fake ad for the second chance pill, where
Yeah.
it's a. I mean, this really didn't have anything to do with the dating thing, but they just kind of put it in anyway. It's this pill this
Hmm.
doctor created for when you need a second chance at getting an erection because you already wasted your erection on some porno you watched, and but you found a better porno that you should have jacked off to. It's a very
Right.
specific thing.
It's yeah, and that is a very specific problem. It's like, oh no, I had my one shot for today and I blew it.
Yeah, literally.
If I'd known this better piece of pornography was coming along.
Yeah, like I would have just loved to seen the pitch for that in the writers' room. It's like, hey guys, you
Yeah.
know how you watch porn and you blow your load, but then you find better porn after, and you're like, oh, I can't spank off to this now. I already wasted. I'm sure the
And
other.
they have a guy like coming back to bed with his girlfriend, and she's like, "Hey, could we have sex?" And he's like, "Oh no, I already took the second chance pill, so I can't." And she's like, "Well, can't you take another one?" And he's like, "Well, no, I already masturbated twice."
And I liked how the doctor, Dr. Thurgood Carver, was played by Jeffrey Owens, who was a who you might remember as Elvin from the Cosby Show.
Yeah, I did recognize him, and he was in the news a few years ago because like he was working in a grocery store, right?
Actually. So what happened was he was working in a grocery store, and I think somebody videotaped him because they recognized him, and they
Hmm.
kind of they put it out on social media as everybody does now, and they kind of like shamed him for being, oh, this guy was a big star and now he's here, bagging groceries. What a fall from grace. And then a
Right.
lot of people came to his defense, being like, no, don't do that. Like, sometimes that'll happen. Like sometimes you'll be on a
Yeah.
show and you got, sometimes work will dry up and you got to do what you got to do to put bread on the table. And
Yeah, and he had a family support, if I remember correctly.
yeah, and actually, before all this happened, I did see him at that grocery store, like bagging up stuff.
Oh,
Because
really?
yeah, it was at the Trader Joe's in Clifton, right off Route 3, and I went in there to like buy some stuff,
Oh,
and like
wow.
as I was checking out, I saw him. He was like bagging up groceries, and I was like, "Is that Elvin from the Cosby Show? It looks a lot like him."
And was this before that story went viral?
Yeah, it was before. It was like maybe a couple months before it. And
Oh,
like
wow.
I was
Okay.
thinking that was him, and then I saw the name tag said Jeffrey, and I was like, "Oh shit, that is him!" And like, but I didn't say anything to him. I just like
Yeah.
kept it moving. But I was like,
Didn't ask for the selfie.
I did not ask for the selfie. I was like, the man's working. I was like, I don't want to bug him. I don't,
Yeah.
because like I figure if I do take a selfie, then somebody would see that and be like, why is he taking a selfie with him? Who is that? And then
Yeah.
like maybe somebody will like look him up, and then that'll like start an avalanche of
Right.
people bugging him. So I just like,
But as I remember, that story that ended up sort of reigniting his acting career because he ended up getting a job or two out of that, right?
yeah, I think like Tyler Perry put him in some films, and he did start
Right.
getting more work from that. So I was like, all right, good on you, Jeffrey
Yeah.
Owens. Tip of the
I was
hat.
like, hey, cool. Jeffrey Owens is working, and it's cool that Shea gave him a part, and he was great. He was, and I liked the gag that like over the course of the episode we see him like removing his diplomas and stuff from the wall, and we find out that he's like a discredited doctor.
Oh, yeah, that was a good thing too. Where of course, he's a doctor, you know, building his whole life's work around boner pills, and so
Yeah,
so like as he was like taking down the diploma, putting it in a box, and be like, oh, uh, it was funny. It was a good
yeah.
sketch.
And there was a neat callback to that in one of the other episodes, in one of the subsequent episodes, where you're seeing a news uh, cast, and the feed down below, they were like, I think there were comments running like a live stream, and one of them mentioned like the second chance pills, and I was like, oh, that's a cool callback.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, another running gag that's in this episode is what was it? Oh, the celebrity the couples feud segment they have.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right, because like while Che and his girl are arguing and like they're talking, he's talking about her friend, he's talking about his friends. That leads into this bit where it's Che and his friends talking, and his girl Grace and her friend like kind of battling out on like a Family Feud style show.
Yeah, that was
And
clever.
yeah,
That was good. And they're talking about like reasons they shouldn't be together, and
right, exactly. And the whole thing is hosted by another New York comedian, Godfrey, who has like a
Mhm.
Steve Harvey impression. And of course, it's like Grace, his friend, saying he shouldn't be together because he drinks too much and like he forgets your birthday or whatever. And but she goes with the answer is like he doesn't love me. And
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And then I think then Michael Che goes on and says, well, I think he says, what does he say? Oh, no, he says like my answer is she's being too dramatic, which
yeah.
is that doesn't go well. Don't Guys, if you're listening, don't tell a girl she's being too dramatic. They don't like that. They do not like that.
Is everything okay at home?
Yeah, no,
There?
everything's fine.
Okay. All right.
Everything's
Okay.
fine.
All right. All right. Not gonna pry.
Everything's fine.
Just checking in.
Everything's fine.
But yeah, it was another strong episode. I don't know if I have much more to say about this particular one. Do you want to move on to episode 3?
Well, I mean, I'll just wrap it up real quick. So then
Okay.
it kind of goes on a little bit more, and then they, they break up, and then I think Che says something along the lines of, "Well, what, you don't love me anymore," and then she says, like, "Do you even know? I don't even think you know how you want to be loved," which is like
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit of a like a bombshell to the heart. Like it gets really serious in it, and then she leaves, and then they go back into what the motivational speaker was saying at the top about like don't trust hoes will pretend they love you and they break your heart, but but the way they shot it kind of implies the fact that like Che's girl isn't the hoe, Michael Che is the hoe. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. It was like kind of Che admitting that yeah, I have a problem with relationships, and even at the end of this episode, it ends with Che meeting another girl and kind of saying the same things that he said to his old girl and
Yeah.
at the beginning of their first date. Like he said the same joke about bourbon and no water to the bartender. He has his
Mm-hmm.
like go tos. Like he's basically admitting that like in relationships he's good in the beginning of it, like the first few days, like the surface level stuff. But then when it comes to like really getting into a relationship and being vulnerable and emotional and having that connection, that's where he falters. And I thought that was a pretty pretty deep thing to admit on a episode of your show.
Yeah, that is insightful,
Right.
and I don't know if I want to say brave, but I mean that's cool that he felt he could admit that.
Yeah, like he's like, yeah, I'm a bit of a fuck boy, as the kids say in these streets. It's him saying it, not me.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. That was my favorite. I thought the second one was the best, but that's just me.
All right, all right. So episode 3, Dudley gets shot. This is kind of talking about, in some ways, like how effed up the healthcare can be in this country. And we have one of Michael Che's friends getting shot, and he doesn't want to call an ambulance because he's like, I can't afford the bills. Like my wife and I were trying to buy a house. I don't need that on my credit.
Right, and that is a real thing. I remember a friend of mine saying that like one day they were at like a restaurant like years ago, and I think like maybe one of the servers got hurt or something, or they were going through
Mm-hmm.
some episode, and somebody was like, call an ambulance, and the person was like, no, don't call an ambulance, I don't have insurance. I mean, that's
Yeah,
something that a lot of people don't even think about. Like, if an ambulance comes and you're not insured, that bill's on you, and it could
yeah.
be like $800 or something like that.
It's some outrageous thing. I mean, it's just ugh.
And it's fucked up. It's really fucked
Yeah,
up. It's a
yeah.
So yeah, so like while they're yeah, so like while his friend gets shot, he's like, yeah, don't call an ambulance, call like a lift. We'll get a lift
Mm-hmm.
over here. And like while all this is happening, he's putting all this on like IG Live. It's like, oh, I got shot. My buddy Mike, he's helping me out. He's a real one.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it's just we're all so addicted to our social medias and our social media profiles, and
Yeah, and like Michael Che's like, it's like, what are you doing? Put that phone down. He's like, no, I got like 38 people watching. This is the most I've ever had.
right, right. And he also he also talks early on about like the special episode of the sitcom, which we used to see like when we were growing up in the '80s. Like you want to watch Different Strokes, you want to hear what you're talking about Willis, but instead you get the story about the bicycle man taking advantage of
Dudley.
Arnold's friend Dudley.
Yeah, that was a iconic episode. I mean, I remember watching that as a kid, like
Yeah,
at my grandma's house, and I was like, I wasn't ready for this. What's happening here?
yeah, and and they're well motivated. They're trying to do a good thing. They want to warn kids that not every adult out there has your best interest at heart. But
Yeah,
uh,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean that was a big thing in the '80s. I mean, I don't know if Reagan had a thing to do with that or what, but I do remember there were a lot of very special episodes.
hmm
There was like the episode of Facts of Life where I think Natalie got like sexually assaulted or something.
I think she lost her virginity.
Oh, was that it? But I thought it was like through like so it was like date rape or something.
I don't remember.
I,
I
I
don't remember.
yeah,
I watched Back to Life back in the day, but I don't remember if like she just lost her virginity and maybe regretted it, or if
yeah. There was that. There was an episode of Family Ties where I think that the uncle played by Tom Hanks was like an alcoholic.
I remember that one. Yeah,
Uh,
he drank the vanilla extract.
yeah, yeah. Wow, that is above
I
and beyond.
hit Alex. I hit Alex. Yeah,
God. And the episode of Saved by the Bell where Jesse was addicted to like speed pills. Was it
yeah,
speed pills? Like I'm so excited. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. It was caffeine pills.
caffeine pills, right? Like
Yeah,
yeah, that was a real thing. Just every episode, it was just like wow, dude.
not caffeine pill addiction, but
Right,
very special episodes.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, that was a real thing. And so now we're getting the episode where Michael Che's friend got shot and he got to get to a hospital. And
hmm
of course, this happened during the pandemic time. The lift comes in, and the lift driver's like, "What? What is he okay?" And he's like, "Oh no, he got
Yeah.
shot." He's like, he's like, "I don't want him in my car. He's bleeding."
Yeah.
And stuff.
And he was like, neither one of you has masks. You have to have masks to get into my car.
Right? Yes,
And
because
then,
the driver was okay with taking him because he's sympathetic to the fact that he's trying to not pay for an ambulance. So he's like, "I'll drive you,
right,
but you need to wear a mask." And like,
right,
but that's where he draws the line. He can't. He doesn't take them because they don't have masks on, and like the pandemic are going around. People are dying, and Mike is
right.
like, "My friend's dying. He got shot. What are you doing?"
Yeah. And we eventually see them on the subway trying to get to the hospital. And 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 they start getting like accosted by this old man on the subway who's like, "Hey, why aren't you wearing a mask?" And then we cut to a wide shot of the old man. The only thing this old man is wearing is a mask. He is butt ass naked.
Excuse me, sir. He has a hat on as well.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, but yeah, full genitalia out, blowing in the wind.
Il flagrante delicto.
Yes,
And the homeless naked man is chastising them for not wearing a
yes,
mask.
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like what's, and everybody else on the train is agreeing with the homeless man, saying like, "What's wrong
right.
with you people? You need to wear a mask." And it's like, this dude's naked. What are you talking about,
You're
everybody?
putting us all at risk. And he's like, "Hey, I've got a spare mask," and he gives him like this really nasty, dirty looking mask.
Yeah,
And like, "Hey, it's used, but it still works."
yeah. And I think Mike's friend who's got shot is like, "Where'd you pull that from? You're not wearing any clothes."
Yeah,
Oh, so yeah, like I do like that take on it. The way that like if you don't have a mask on, you were just like a pariah, pretty much in these
yeah,
streets. I also like they had at the top of this episode, they had like a segment from the town hall where at the
yes.
beginning of the town hall they were like, well, we lost some people in our community. We put up this in memoriam video for them, and it's a
Hmm.
video of people, anti-maskers, who are like, these masks are the work of Satan. And then it cuts to like them in like a black and white shot with Sarah McLachlan sad music playing, saying, "Oh,
Right.
she passed away to COVID." And
I will remember you.
exactly, one of them was another New York comedian, Katie Hannigan, and then it has other people saying, "Hey, you're gonna, more people die of the regular flu than the COVID." And then, of course,
Right.
then it says, "Oh, this guy died of
Died of
COVID."
COVID.
And an old man saying, "Hey, there's a little thing called the Constitution that we don't have to wear masks." This man died of COVID,
Yeah.
which it's morbid, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Because I mean, we all saw so many ironic news stories like that of people ranting
Ugh.
about, this whole thing's a hoax and this is and all that, and then they end up contracting COVID and in some cases dying from it. And
R.I.P. Herman Cain.
yeah,
Oh boy. Yeah. So then that happened. So and also while Che and his friend Reggie Conquest, another comedian, they're on the
yes,
train
and
saying,
writer on the show.
and right on the show, I think Che says, "Hey, we're almost there at Mount Holyoke." And then his friend says, "What? That's the expensive hospital. No, take me to Tubman's. That's like the hood ghetto, like lower cost hospital." Which again,
Right,
it's
and they talk about how um, like a lot of doctors train in what are called black hospitals because they have more traumas there, and so
yeah, that's
you have more opportunity to learn your business.
yeah. This I think Che said like, yeah, we're like the guinea pigs or like the frogs you operate on in high school before you go on to the bigger, better hospitals. Which
Again, what a metaphor, man.
Jesus age. And then they cut to another sketch where the Mike Britt character is in the hospital, waiting to get a prostate exam from a doctor, and that doctor is played by Clifford Smith, aka Method Man of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Mm.
I knew his real name. You didn't see that coming, did you?
I did not, but I'm not surprised. This is on brand for you.
Method man. Yeah, and then they go. I mean, this sketch that they go into, it's all right. I wasn't too wild about it. It's just basically a joke about prostate exam and sticking fingers up booty holes.
Yeah, I liked that he was like, the twist is that the doctor doesn't want to put his hand where you have to put it in for a prostate exam. He's like, "Hey, I'm a highly trained medical professional. You're going to do this yourself."
Yeah, it's like I ain't putting your finger in your booty hole.
I make like 55K a year.
Yeah. And then he tells the nurse, and the nurse is like, "Ew, this guy's nasty. He wants to put fingers in his booty hole." And then another comic, Alex English, just comes in and puts the whole thing on IG Live again.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I think Mike Britt says, "Hey, don't put my business out on the phone like that." He's like, "What are you talking about? I got 34 likes. I got 34 viewers here. This is the most I've ever had." Yeah, I thought that sketch was all right, but I mean, but yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, this will probably give you a feel for how certain elements like weave in and out of the episode. So
Right.
I thought it was the construction of the show was really good. You know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it ends with Che finally getting his friend to the hospital, and unfortunately, spoiler, he passes away because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't get to him in time, and it ends with Che in the waiting room with the doctor who operated on him, of course, Doctor Method Man, and he's like, yeah, sorry, we lost him. If you got here earlier, maybe. Oh, by
Mm-hmm.
the way, you need to wear a mask in here. So he gives him like a bloody used operation.
It's as ratty as the one that he was offered on the subway from the homeless man,
Yeah, so it's like it's a little
the naked homeless man.
exactly. It's like, yeah, it's a little used, but it still works.
Right.
And then of course it's Che in the waiting room with a bloody mask while Sarah McLachlan plays "I Will Remember You."
Right.
Yeah. So R.I.P. Reggie Conquest.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought this.
Who pops up in a later episode?
Who pops up in later? Yeah, he's not dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead in real life. Like
Yeah.
if the Reggie Conquest family is listening to this podcast and thinking he's dead, he's not. He's alive and well.
And I think it speaks well of Michael Che that he does not actually kill people in the production of his television series.
Oh, dude. Well, that just goes right into the next episode. Well played, sir. Well played. Well played, crackers.
No, wait. Next, we have Sex Worker.
Yeah, this one is basically about fame and celebrity status in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
So it opens with an interview at the School of the Arts where the interviewer is bringing out Michael Che to all the students on stage, and
Mm-hmm.
we have an actor, Omari Hardwick, playing Michael Che in this instance, and
Right.
then it cuts to us finding out that that first scene was actually a dream Michael Che had as
Yeah, it's
Michael.
an anxiety dream, and he's talking about it with his therapist, played by Heidi Gardner.
Exactly. And
And
yeah, so then we get a little peek into how Che views fame and his celebrity status in Hollywood and whatnot. Like one of the things he
mm-hmm.
says in the Talking Heads is like how like whenever you're somebody in the black community that has a job that a lot of people don't have, they always want to know more about that job and like how you got it. They always think like you couldn't have gotten it through hard work and just perseverance. You had to have done something really nefarious to get it. There's
Right,
like
and then we cut to Che uh, on like a bachelor type reality show where he's like giving his rose to people in his family, and he's trying to decide which member of his extended family he will let die so that he can become more famous.
right because as we all as black people know, in order for you to succeed in Hollywood, you have to kill off one of your family members. That's just
Right?
that's how Hollywood works, man.
Yeah, he got a blood pact.
Exactly. And this is where we see Ellen Cleghorn, who plays
Mm-hmm.
Che's mom, and is like, yeah, if I got to get through all in this movie, so one of y'all got to go.
Yeah, yeah, and he's like weighing the pros and cons of his various family members. He's like, well, this aunt, she always had candy for me in church, and that's cool. And but this uncle did this stuff, and yeah, so a funny scene.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then so after that, it cuts to his anxiety dream, or the dream he's telling his therapist Heidi Gardner about, and
Mm-hmm.
now he's being played by Colin Jost.
Colin Jost as Michael Che on Michael Che's show.
Right.
We're getting very meta here.
We are, and of course, the students are asking them questions about like, as a black man in Hollywood, do you feel like do you have a right, or do you have an obligation to speak on the behalf of other black people? And he says, "Oh
Who
no,
are
actually,
less fortunate than you.
yeah, exactly. We're less fortunate than you." Then, and he says, "Like, actually, no, I don't,"
Yeah,
which takes the student back quite a bit.
and it's all the more hilarious because it's Colin Jost just going like, yeah, no, I don't really care.
Right, and then
And then he goes into a spiel about like how to become famous, a lot of people assume that you've done something gay.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, that's kind of something I've heard a little
Uh-huh.
bit in certain circles
Right.
where, like a lot of people will think, oh, in order to make it in Hollywood, you gotta do something strange for that change. You gotta
Yeah.
do some,
There's some casting couch stuff going on. And
yeah.
and Colin just starts expanding, saying, like, well, really, it depends on what your definition of gay stuff is. And I don't want to ruin what the spiel he goes into, but it's a funny spiel.
It has to do with ice cream, and well, we'll just leave
Yeah.
it at that.
Yeah. It has to do with ice cream. And yeah.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I've always kind of wondered that, like, if a person who's LGBTQIA had maybe found that scene like maybe homophobic a little bit, because they do get into it about how, yeah, some people do think you have to do gay stuff in order to succeed in Hollywood. I don't. I mean, it's not really. I don't think it is, but I mean, maybe I shouldn't be speaking on it.
I I personally didn't get that from it because it's not. I don't think it was really saying anything more than if you're not gay, you don't really want to do gay stuff,
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
and
Sure.
and that you shouldn't have to do sexual favors to achieve success in the movie and TV industry.
You shouldn't have to.
Shouldn't have to.
You should want to. No, I'm sorry.
Sometimes you get to. Um,
That's absolutely if you're lucky.
yeah.
Yeah. So then we cut back to Che talking to Heidi about this dream about like how now Colin Joseph's playing him in the dream, and
Mhm.
how a lot of people do believe you got to do gay stuff to get anywhere in Hollywood and whatnot. And then Heidi kind of reveals that oh yeah, I'm not a therapist. I'm actually a prostitute or
Right.
sex
And
worker.
you're talking to me because apparently this is your kink.
Yeah, exactly.
And Michael Che's like, yeah, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, we are going to have sex. I mean, but I'm not going to pay to tell all my problems to some stranger. And she's like, you are literally doing that right now. It's just I'm a sex worker instead of a therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we see Chade has a maid named Florence, and then he asks Florence, the maid, it's like, hey, Florence, come here, let me ask you something. Like, what do you think? How do you think I made it in Hollywood? How do you think I did? And she says,
Yeah.
through hard work, perseverance. And then he said, no, really, how do you think? And she's like, well, if I had to be honest, you probably had to do some gay stuff, right?
Right.
And yeah, and then they kind of get into it a little bit, how like black people feel like they can't imagine a world where they get ahead just through their talented hard work. Do you feel like you got
Hard work and perseverance and
yeah, like you got to do
yeah.
you have to compromise in order to make it, whether it being like doing something gay, or then they bring up the term being a coon, like doing something to a sellout in essence.
Yeah, I'd never heard that connotation for that particular word.
Really, you haven't heard that?
Well, I mean, I'd heard the word, of course, but I always just thought that was just another generic slur. I never knew that it was that particular type. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like it as the
Yeah.
old timey phrase. You don't know it as how we reference it to like modern day now. Like
Right. In my mind, it was just like an obsolete slur term. So
no, it is alive and well in the black community.
okay.
Like a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say, people like Candace Owens or
Uh-huh.
Stacey Dash or something like that, like have kind of sold out in order to appeal to the a certain audience. So
Yeah,
it's
to like the white community.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've heard numerous people say that, so it's definitely a thing that's said.
Okay. All right.
But yeah,
I learned a little something.
the more you
I don't know what
know.
I'm going to do with this knowledge, but
You can bring it up at your next cocktail party.
yeah.
Like, hey guys, did you know?
Hey guys, did you know that this particular word has this meaning?
why is everybody looking at me?
What? No, I'm just
I'll show myself out.
yeah.
Uh,
That would be best.
yeah, but like I liked how they got into that. I like how another sketch that is kind of put in here, the that sketch about like the basketball team that's kind of standing up for their rights. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, they were like, hey guys, we gotta make our voices heard. We gotta keep kneeling during the anthem, and we've got to be here to represent Black trans women. And when as soon as the other players hear what the cause is, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't know if we want to put ourselves out there for that, because
Yeah,
he makes the point in one of his talking head segments. It's like people, they only want to put themselves out there for the things that directly affect them.
right. The stuff that they tolerate. So you'll see black people out for Black Lives Matter. You'll see, Asians for, Asian hate rallies.
Mhm.
But like, if you have something like a black trans march or a protest, you don't see too many, straight black men or straight black, and maybe straight black women. I don't know, but you don't see
Yeah,
too many straight black men marching on the behalf of black trans
yeah,
people.
like the amount of empathy for other marginalized groups, it kind of goes down when it's no longer the group you're a part of, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, which is a that's a hot button thing to say, but there is truth to that. That is something that
Yeah,
people just don't talk about.
absolutely,
Uh, I
absolutely.
liked how they address it. And we see some other New York comics in here, Monroe Barton, Derek Gaines, where like it's all this segment sort of set up as like one of those inspirational movies type of where like a basketball team has to stand up for what's right. Like, no, guys, we need to kneel for this cause. We need to
Yeah.
kneel for Black trans rights. And everybody else is like, I don't know, man. This is not my bag, baby.
Like that famous photo from like what was it? It was like the 1968 Olympics where like two of the three winning athletes are doing the Black Power salute,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then there's that third athlete who's a white guy who's just standing there kind of awkwardly, and I once read an article about him, and it was just like it was not that he did not support that, he was just kind of like, I think, sort of stuck in the middle. He was like, "Wait, do I do this too out of solidarity, or do I not? Is that okay?" And it was like, "Ah,
He's in his head
I kind
about
of
it.
feel for
Yeah,
the guy." And you
yeah,
don't really think about that guy when you're watching it.
yeah. No, I imagine like that was probably the same mindset of people had when like when Kaepernick started kneeling. Like the people, like his
Hmm.
teammates were like, "Oh, should I kneel? Is this going to be a thing?"
Yeah, like he didn't come to me before the game and say, "Hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to join in?" Because so you're just kind of on the spot in the moment.
Like, bro, give me a heads up. Let me know. Yeah,
Right, right.
but yeah, I could see that. I could see that people being like, "Oh, should I?" Or just worried about the
Yeah.
optics, or yeah, you're just worried about doing the right thing at the moment.
And that's a big thing to decide in the moment.
Exactly. Like, I mean, right now, everybody takes pictures and videotapes of every moment of everything that's going on right now. So as soon as you
Hmm.
decide to go whole hog into something, there could be somebody taking a picture and putting it up on social media, and then it could be like a huge avalanche of things just hitting you. So
Yeah.
you gotta, it's hard to commit. It's hard to commit in the moment.
I was reading a thing the other day about, the people talk about the fight or flight response, where you come across some startling thing or some piece of violence, or somebody in danger, and you either run away or you'd fight for it. But honestly, most people just freeze
Yeah.
because it's so outside of most people's everyday experience. You don't know what to do, and
Yes.
you are just paralyzed.
Sometimes you're a deer in the headlights.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
true. Yeah. So that's the sex worker episode. I thought it was
yeah,
pretty good. This one. Oh, there's also Billy Porter makes an appearance in this one sketch, Atomic
yeah.
Twan, that I wasn't. I thought that one was kind of weak. That sketch.
I don't feel like I entirely got that, because I haven't heard the term Twan before, and I felt like I'm supposed to know what a Twan is, and I still don't feel like I totally get what a Twan is.
I don't think it's a thing. I think they just chose the name. I think he was supposed to be sort of like an amalgam of all those kind of apathetic workers you see at the post office or the bank.
Uh huh.
Those type of people who are just like who don't really want to do the job or do the work, but they work for like the government in some capacity, and they're just like, I'm just here to just get by and go on my lunch break and collect my check and get out of here. So I think that was the take on it. But yeah, they really weren't too like it wasn't too clear on exactly where they were going with that. I think it could have been fleshed out a little bit more.
I just looked up Tuan on Urban Dictionary.
Oh boy.
And it says someone who is the most extraordinary of the extraordinary. This person is considered a god amongst men and is also known to be called a king of kings.
I've never heard that term before.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, then that leaves me more confused. That doesn't make sense to this sketch at all.
That doesn't make sense in the context of the sketch, no.
Huh. All right. Well, I think they just mean it as Tuan or like a name, or
yeah.
I don't know. That sketch. I was like kind of like I didn't get where they were going with that.
There's another definition on the Google results. It says someone who's washed up, has gone soft, and no longer commands respect in the hood. From Ice Cube's song "Check Yourself."
Oh yeah, it used to be the Don Juan. Now your name is just Tuan.
Okay. And also another term for masturbating. So
that's a new one on me. All right. All right, second chance pill. I got you.
Okay, so I think the lesson that we've learned is Urban Dictionary, not very good.
Yeah, I guess.
those are like three completely different definitions.
Yeah, Urban Dictionary. What's up with
what the hell, Urban Dictionary? You were supposed to clear this up for me.
Who's running the ship over there? Somebody's asleep at the wheel.
No, that's one of those user generated things, right? Where like people vote for what they think the best definition is.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's just up to the people, like Wikipedia and Mikey Day pictures. It's just like whoever wants to have a crack at it, go at it.
All right. Well, this is just another example of how democracy does not work.
2016 was the other. I shouldn't get.
No, okay. I'm sorry for wasting our time with that.
Oh,
I'm more confused what Tuan is than ever.
Oh boy! All right, next episode. Well played, Crackers. Let's get into that.
Well played, Crackers.
And
this was really interesting because he was just talking about how a lot of Black people are reluctant to get the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, just because of the history. Tuskegee, and. You hear that and you're like, okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, he also kind of talked about it in that one Daniel Kaluuya sketch where you take the vaccine on the episode Kaluuya hosted. It's a real thing. A lot of Black people are just. I know like a few that were hesitant at first, but I think they got it. But like a few people are just.
Yeah, I felt like this episode, unfortunately, it felt a little dated to me because. In the months since this was produced, between like November and February, a lot more people are getting the vaccine. The vaccines have become a lot more widespread, and we're slowly moving towards like the herd immunity. So it felt a little outdated to me. Did you get that at all?
A little bit, yeah. It's definitely like a bit of a time capsule. This one,
yeah,
where like you said, like I think because when they were filming this, it was like November, February, so the vaccine was not as widely popular as it is now, when people were still having people still have doubts about it. But I think that that's gone down a little bit. So basically, the setup in this one is Chase talking to his manager and how talking about how COVID just shut down everything. He can't do shows and movies anymore. He can't do stand up because COVID dried everything up. So his manager is just like, you got to start making some money. You need to get the vaccine so you can go out back on the road and make some dough. Come to my house. I'm having a vaccine party.
Which apparently is the thing. Chay's like, hey, you've gotten the vaccine? And his agent is like, oh, yeah, of course. I'm rich.
Yeah, of course.
So that was another thing that felt like a little dated to me because it was like, oh, yeah, this is like back a few months ago when the vaccine was still not everybody could get it. And now literally like everybody can get it.
Yeah, it's in drugstores and everywhere now.
Yeah. And please get vaccinated if you have not.
For the love of Pete, get vaccinated. Don't be. What do you do? What are you proving? What are you trying to prove here?
The government can already track you through your cell phone.
That's something. We'll get into that. They talk about that, which I appreciate.
That was a cool thing where they had. We see like a bunch of people in a Black barber shop.
Right.
And one guy's coming around and he's like, "Hey guys, I got the vaccine."
Yeah, that's another New York comedian, Will Sylvince.
Right.
And actually, there's also another New York comedian, Mike Yard, who plays one of the barbers, and
Hmm.
Sam Jay, former SNL writer, is in there too.
Nice, nice. And this sort of talks about like and Shay's just having this. No, it wasn't Shay having an exchange. It was like two of the patrons in the black barbershop saying like, "Oh yeah, that's how they get you," and they just start backing up through time of like, "Oh no, I'm not getting on Twitter. That's how they get you.
Yeah,
I'm not getting a cell phone. That's how they get you." And they go all the way back to a couple of slaves working in a cotton field, and they're like, "No, I'm not singing those spirituals with those secret code words
yeah.
because that's how they get you."
That's right. You better go and get me a drum. And there's so much truth in that. I love that part because, like, yeah,
Mhm.
people saying, "Oh, don't take the vaccine because that's what that they put a chip in there. That's the mark of the beast. That's how they get you." And then,
Right.
like you said, then they go back to iPhone. Like that's how the mark of the beast. That's how that the chip in there that can.
Hmm.
And yeah, that is something that's very true. Like, folks, we carry iPhones. Everybody here has a tracking device with a microphone and a camera in it with them at all
Yeah.
times. And
And usually, and most people, I think, probably have location services on, so you can like check in at the cool place that you're in,
right, and
and
and a lot of
and
people,
be like, "Hey!" And there's even like an app where you can. It's like find my friends, where you can find people you might know that are close to you, and
yeah, and like people have those phones with like that open with your thumbprint, and
yeah.
there's also face recognition,
Hmm.
and like don't feel if you're afraid of taking the vaccine because like that's how they get you. If you have a phone with face recognition, they already got you.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I also like that. And like they talk about like Twitter, like you said, like just so the government can read all my thoughts. No, fuck that.
Yeah,
And
and somebody can come and cancel me years later. I mean,
exactly, it's like
this reminded me of kind of like the type of bit you'd see on Chappelle's show, and I mean that in the best possible way.
yeah, no, this was a very Chappelle bit.
Because it was very insightful, and it just was saying like, "Hey, we've been doing this for literally decades, if not centuries," and it just shows how much privacy Americans can willingly give up because social media makes it fun.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So
Yeah.
I really like that segment of it. I like the parts when Che's talking to his friend in the barber saying, "Yeah, I can't take that vaccine. What if it fucks up my liver?" And he says that while he's drinking bourbon straight
Yes.
up in the
Yeah.
barbershop.
Yeah.
And, his friend saying, "Yeah, you got to be careful what you put in your body." And he's making like some type of like cough syrup, alcoholic drink, scissorb.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah,
And I liked how the guy who's coming around selling the vaccine, and he's just like, "Oh no, I don't know if I want to get it. I'm doing okay." And the barber just looks at him and he's like, "You are going around selling bootleg vaccines in a barbershop. You are not doing okay."
you're not doing well. And,
Yeah.
and another thing I liked about this episode is those fake ads they had for White Castle throughout.
They do a number on White Castle in this episode, man.
I was thinking, how did White Castle sign off on this? They're really going
Well,
in.
I think they obviously did not. Either White Castle has an amazing sense of humor about themselves, which maybe they do with the whole Harold and Kumar go to White Castle thing. I know they signed off on that movie, but
Right.
I can't imagine because this does not paint them in a positive light
Not at
at
all.
all.
Not at all.
They are like we at White Castle we care, so we're giving like the crave cases to all our frontline workers, but we forgot that those just shoot through people.
Yeah. And
Like, I mean,
they're calling them murder burgers, which
they're talking about like how they're wet burgers, and they shoot them in the most unappetizing looking manner.
yeah, and they just talk about we forgot that they're sliders because they slide right through you. I think we actually see SNL writer Brian Tucker in this scene, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
And they just go on and talk about how White Castle burgers they taste good, but then they just
But you pay for it.
yeah. I as someone who's eaten numerous White Castle burgers, I can attest to this. They are delicious, but then you're just it just rips right through your guts.
I
Like,
mean, do not stray far from your home base. Is all I'm
oh
saying.
yeah, no, don't be out on the road with
No,
these things. You're, oh my god,
no. You want to be you want your home bathroom within your line of sight at all times after you get a
yeah,
white.
or somebody's bathroom, like your friend's bathroom. Maybe not a good friend, but like a
No, you don't want to be no home base.
yeah, exactly.
You got to do that stuff at home.
Yeah, yeah, because there is a something wicked this way comes, if you know what I mean.
You're not taking that stuff out in public.
Yeah, this is
I mean, you shouldn't. Is what
yeah
I'm saying.
the bad moon rising.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and there's also a few other segments in this episode. We see, like you said, Dr. Thurgood Carver talking about
Yeah.
him inventing something called dick ties, where it's like a little bow tie you put around your dick to impress your
Yeah.
boss at the urinal.
Yeah, it's for like folks who are not circumcised, and apparently they are not getting the business opportunities that they could or should because of that, because
Yeah,
they're a little different down below.
yeah. I mean, I'll admit this sketch had nothing to do with the whole vaccine theme. They just kind of wedged it in. But yeah, so either way, Jeffrey Owen gets another appearance. So you know
Yeah,
he gets another check.
yeah, and Jeffrey Owens did a really nice job. I was impressed with him.
Yeah, yeah. And there's also another segment where they put in this fake movie from the '40s called The Ticket. It's a black and white film where
Yeah,
we see another New York comic, Yamanika Saunders, talking to her husband, who's obviously out cheating. But then the guy says, "Oh no, I wasn't out cheating. I was in Tuskegee because I was working for the government, part of this thing called the Tuskegee experiment." Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought it kind of dragged a little bit, but I thought it was okay, that part.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, yeah. So I mean, this episode goes on where he's really contemplating whether he should get the vaccine or not, and I think he decides to do it as he goes to his his manager's vaccine party,
yeah.
and yeah, he
And he finally like he gives a little speech about his issues with it, and then as that ends, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I just gave you the shot like through your sleeve
yeah, it's like I didn't even
while you were
lift up my
talking."
sleeve. How'd you do that?
Yeah,
And then the doctor was like, "How do you feel?" It's like, "Yeah, I feel okay. I feel fine." And then the
yeah.
doctor was like,
And then literally everyone in the party is like, "Hey, feels fine. It's safe for us to get the vaccine now." And then all the white people in the party are like, "Yay!"
"Exactly,
because they use the black man as their guinea pig.
yeah."
Um,
It all full circle.
Again, historical precedent.
History repeats itself.
But that was a great twist. I didn't see it coming. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, another strong episode.
I mean, funny stuff, funny payoff.
Yeah, and so the final one is called "Only Built for Leather Suits," and this
Hmm.
is basically more about, I guess, Michael Che's art and his career, and being an artist,
Yeah,
being a comedian, and just comedy.
yeah, and also just doing comedy in the challenging times we're in, where the people are under quarantine. You can't really have people gather. Like they talk about how he's doing a show at Madison Square Garden, but but it hasn't sold out, and we see him like advertising this at his local church, and they keep bringing up other like black sketch comedy shows like Chappelle's Show and Key and Peele and In Living Color.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was I kind of thought that might have been the theme of this episode, because it's basically, well, it opens with him going into a Catholic church and
Mhm.
having a confession with the priest. The priest, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
priest. And of course the priest played by Colin Quinn.
Yes.
And he talks about how he grew up wanting to be one of the greats, like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Chappelle, Rock, Carlin. Of course, he stops himself before he says Bill Cosby.
He was like Bill Cosby, and then he goes on to the next a Red Fox.
Right. And he talks about how he has a special coming out in the Garden, but it's not it's like a limited audience, and it's not sold
Mhm.
out yet. And I think they kind of take it in this direction where them I guess they're trying to say, like, does like celebrity, comedic status hold the same weight that it used to? I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying.
Yeah, I mean, well, also like they have a scene where he's talking with two of his friends, and they're like, "Oh no, I mean, like I know you're in comedy, but like they actually say at one point, black people don't watch Saturday Night Live."
Yeah, they do say that, which I mean, there is
Yeah.
some truth to that. I think.
I mean,
Ah,
we here at the SNL Nerd Show, we have no way of
that's
knowing
right.
if any black people watch Saturday Night
There's
Live.
no way we could say here at the SNL Nerds, at least 50% of us who are black watch this show SNL on a daily basis. Those are pretty good odds.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying I have not seen any evidence in like say the last 3 years of black people watching Saturday Night Live.
there's no
I don't know if that's a thing that
there's
happens.
no way to know. We can. I mean,
There's no way to
the
know.
tech. We can't find out. The technology is just not there.
I don't know. I wish there was some way we could develop the technology. Like, I mean, if there was like a black person who was willing to come forward and be like, yes, I watch Saturday Night Live. I occasionally enjoy Saturday Night Live. I am a black person who watches Saturday Night Live.
Mm. Someday, my friend. Someday.
But I mean, that is just not a barrier that we as a nation have crossed yet.
So some maybe in the future, in the near future, we'll get there. We'll
I
get
mean,
there.
maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't hold my breath,
Fingers
is what
crossed,
I'm
people.
saying. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do like that question he poses. I guess because I think the point they're trying to make is because everybody, like the entertainment field, is all like kind of fragmented now. Everybody has their own
Hmm.
thing that they watch. Like having a HBO special doesn't really hit as hard as it used to. Or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like it used to be back in the day. If you were on Carson, you've made it. That was a big deal to everybody. Or if you had a
Right.
HBO special, or if you were on Letterman, that was a big deal. Everybody knew who you were. But like
Yeah.
now, because everybody has their own little bubble of entertainment that they watch, like being on SNL and having a or doing a show at the Garden, it doesn't have the same impact that it used to. I think
Yeah.
that's I feel like that's what they were trying to say.
Yeah. No, I feel like that was the point. And it is so easy to miss things in the entertainment landscape. I mean, like so many of the hosts that SNL's had the last couple of years, it's been somebody like I've vaguely heard of, and maybe I know the name of the show that they're on, but I have not actually seen the show itself. And because it's like on some streaming service somewhere that you have to specifically subscribe to, you don't come across things the way you used to.
Exactly. Like I legit
You have to seek it out.
Yeah, I legit never heard of Reggae John Page until he hosted SNL.
Right.
Or I
Right.
mean, don't even get us started on the musical guest because that's a whole
I mean, like Tiffany Haddish. I'd maybe like just heard of her
like yesterday.
uh, beforehand, or Issa Rae, or I mean, so many people, and it makes me feel like so out of touch. But there is just so much more content out there, and so many more venues out there.
Right.
It's impossible to keep track of it all.
No, absolutely. It's
Even after like a year of quarantine, where everybody's like watching all this content.
no, absolutely. And like I feel like that's what they were trying to say, but I don't know. Out of all the episodes, I kind of thought this was the weakest because it really doesn't stay on that
Hmm.
message quite a bit. It goes on these kind of other tangents and kind of puts in all these other
Yeah.
sketches that don't have anything to do with that theme. Like there's that ad
Hmm.
with the Homegirl app where
I liked the concept of that, and it was like, yeah, when you're in an awkward situation, like they had uh, a guy working at checkout in a grocery store, and a Karen starts going off on him, and he can't really come back at her because like people are recording on their cell phones, and it's not going to look good for him. So he uses the Homegirl app to call in a homegirl who can get in her face
right,
for him.
exactly, like a woman to beat up another woman for you. And of
Right.
course, like Uber, the person asks, "Hey, do you want a water or a bag of chips? You okay? Or some
Yeah.
mints?"
Yeah. I thought that was a cool concept, but yeah, this episode, I suppose it did meander a little more. I think honestly, my attention wandered a little bit more in this last
No,
episode.
I totally agree. There was that one part where we get into Che's friend, Reggie Conquest, who goes to the doctors, and
Yeah,
there's that attractive nurse, and he has to get like his testicles looked at. That
yeah,
kind
and
of
she leaves him alone in the room for a minute, and we see him sort of trying to make a good presentation.
he
He's
was twanning.
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever meaning of twatting
He was
or twanning that
he
was.
was he was he was he's going full Twan.
Yeah, yeah. So he's getting himself prepared because he wants to impress the attractive young woman who's attending him.
As you do. And
Because the nightmare is that he's not going to be impressive, and then she will tell the world.
exactly, yeah, but yeah, that didn't really have anything to do with the episode. It was just like something
Hmm.
they just kind of put in there. And then there was that other sketch about like real child predators they put in, where it's
Hmm.
about like you hear the term child predators and you think one thing, but like the sketch was about like how some young teenagers kind of prey on older women for sex and
Yeah,
stuff that they can give them. And I mean, I thought that was interesting enough, but it didn't really. Again, it kind of meandered a bit.
it felt like maybe they put in the last episode all the ideas that didn't quite fit into the others, and this one wasn't as focused as a result.
Yeah, yeah. No, this seemed like a lot of filler was in this one. Like another part that they had was they were kind of parodying the incident that happened last year with that Soho Karen, the Mia
Hmm.
Ponsetto. Where I mean, if you don't know the story, it's happened like a year ago, where this white woman was in a high end hotel in Manhattan, and
Oh
she
yes.
couldn't find her phone, and
Hmm.
she blamed like this black kid in the lobby who happened to be the son of a famous like trumpeter. That's like, and she said like, "Oh, he stole my phone. He has my phone," and no one
Right.
really was like calming her down or stopping it. And like she just went off and like kind of like attacked the kid and like saying, "I demand you give me my phone," even though the kid is like saying, "I don't have your lady. I don't have your phone. I don't know what you're talking about."
Right.
And
Right.
so of course people were videotaping it, and no one kind of went in to stop it. And she like accosted this kid, and then finally somebody broke it up, and it turns out the woman left her phone in a cab. Like, I think the cab driver came back and was like, "Oh, lady, yeah, your phone's in this taxi." And so, but by
Yeah.
that point, like the video went up online and social media, and it blew up, and she was known as like a Soho Karen. So this sketch
Yeah.
was kind of reflecting that, and of course, they had the girl from the Homegirl app. Somebody called him and beat up the person playing the Soho Karen, which I
Yeah.
mean, I thought that was okay enough, but it didn't really. I don't know.
I like the homegirl app stuff,
Yeah.
and they even had uh, what was the name of the writer who was acting in the sketch?
Oh, Gary Richardson.
No, no,
No,
the other one. I think the last name began with Q.
Q. Um,
Shit,
I don't.
I'm totally blanking on the name, and I don't have a list of the writers in front of me.
Well,
So
wait, which person?
the guy we were talking about, who was in the medical
Oh, Reggie Conquest.
Conquest.
Right, right.
Yes, thank you, Reggie Conquest. Like he calls in the homegirl app at one point, like late in the episode.
Right, right. So I mean, that's a nice little thread they put in throughout the thing, but yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of filler in this, and they kind of stray away from the main theme of it, which is an interesting theme, but they never really kind of focus on it. And it even ends with
Mhm.
them with Michael Che doing his performance, and but it's kind of the way they shot it as like a commercial for his big show, and
His big Madison Square Garden show, and we see the audience, and there's like a dozen people in there, like spread out.
right, social distancing. But the way it's shot, it's like one of those, oh, he's too edgy. Like you don't
Yeah.
like one of those. I'm
Yes.
so wild and crazy. You don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm a dangerous comic. At one point, you
Right.
do see Michael Che with like caution tape around his mouth, which is one of the most
Yes.
hack things a comedian can do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, I know the liberal media is not going to like me for this one.
I'm gonna get canceled for that last bit, and yeah.
It's like I'm gonna say that y'all ain't ready." And it's yeah. So I
Like if you're talking about how edgy you are, you're not edgy. You
exactly
know?
you talk a big game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that episode just kind of ends. That episode was it wasn't the strongest. I thought that one.
Yeah, I wish the show as a whole could have ended stronger, but overall I like the show. I thought it's a well done show, and I'd like to see more of it. Has it been renewed for a second season yet?
There has been. I don't believe so. I don't think it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the show's Wikipedia page about it, but
Okay, but yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty enjoyable. I mean, my favorite one was the second episode and the third. bourbon and water, and Dudley got shot. Like I thought those were the strongest one that had like a point of view, and we're saying a good number of things. And I
Yeah.
know, of course, well played crackers. I enjoyed the vaccine talk that the people had at the barbershop. I really it had a lot of good
My
stuff in there.
favorites were probably Policing and Well Played Crackers. I think Sex Worker is very good too. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no, that was good too. That was
I
pretty.
mean, definitely a show that's worth watching. It's funny. It's got stuff to say, and yeah, I'd like to see more. And it's neat to see Michael Che doing stuff that he probably couldn't do on SNL. Although this show is produced by Lorne Michaels and Broadway Video.
Yeah, exactly. This is under the Lorne's umbrella.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I dug it. It definitely touches on some edgier subjects, but it's
Hmm.
not like meant to be provocative or anything like that. So, but it's just they're just bringing up points and thoughts, and I dug it. I thought this was a
Yeah,
solid,
I mean, it raises some interesting questions. Definitely.
yeah, solid show. Really quick watch, 2 hours, and you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Worth checking out, guys.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's our episode, guys. Thanks again so much for listening as always.
Hmm.
I don't think we got any tweets on this one, but
No, I think it's still a very new show. It's only been out for a month, so I don't think we have a whole lot on it. But yeah, but check it out. Shoot us a tweet at SNL Nerd Show. Let us know what you thought. You can also follow our individual Twitter accounts. I'm at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic.
and I'm at Darren Credible on Twitter and Instagram. That's DARIN Credible.
Hmm. And yeah, again, please rate and review us on the podcast app of your choice. And please shoot us a little money on the Patreon. That's at non-productive.com or patreon.com/nonpro.
Yes, please. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to spread the word. We want to have it so that a Mikey Day responding to our tweets is not an unusual occurrence.
Exactly. we want to have it so that when people well known like tweet back at us, it's not like, whoa, this is shocking.
Yeah. And we won't feel the need to spend 15 minutes on it at the beginning of the show.
Absolutely. That's what we want to get to that level where we can be indifferent to the famous people tweeting at us.
We want to get so big that we do no longer care about our success.
Yes, that's the goal. That's the dream.
Yeah. We want to be able to phone the show in.
Yes, right. Exactly. I want to have somebody playing me doing the podcast while I'm off on the Riviera, just relaxing and lounging on my yacht.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we'll have our stand-ins just do this podcast.
That's
and probably do a better job at it, quite frankly.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Probably.
Yeah. No. I mean,
yeah,
it's a low bar to clear.
Yeah, I am not very good.
No.
I
same with me.
I am barely tolerable at best.
Do we want to talk about what we're doing next week?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
I mean, are we official for that, or should we just play our cards close to the vest?
Let's play it close to the vest.
Okay. Well, we're working on something. We're working on, let's say, setting up an interview with a notable person who has worked for SNL. I think that's safe to say, right?
Yeah, we could say that. It's
okay.
It's going to be a bit of a coup if we pull this off. We'll just say that.
I mean, fingers crossed. We're going to make this happen.
That's right.
So, and if you have any suggestions of shows you want us to cover, movies you want us to cover, books related to SNL, we're talking about starting up a SNL book club, and or somebody connected with the show that you'd like us to try and interview. We will do our best to make that happen for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are thinking about doing the book club. I think somebody pitched that to us on the Twitters. And yeah, we know Cecily Strong has a book coming out this year. Colin Jost had a book come out last year. It's definitely a lot of things are in the works, people. A lot of pots cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah. So so let us know what you want to see and hear from this podcast, because it's your podcast as much as ours. Actually, no, not so much. It is ours more than yours. but you have a voice.
That's right. You are heard. We want we want you to feel like you're at home here. So if you want to say something, just say it. Say it with your heart.
Yeah, but a guest in the home.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be a dick.
Don't make yourself too at home. Don't put like your bare foot on the coffee table.
Yeah. Don't be a dick. Don't be like just eating out of our fridge or nothing.
No. We pay hard money for good money for those groceries.
That's right. Good hard money for those.
Good hard money.
That's right.
Which I don't even know what that is, but it's good hard money.
Absolutely.
Have we reached the point of diminishing returns now? I feel like we have.
I think that's where we started.
We will see you next week, guys. Until then, nerds out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit Non-Productive.com.